on to Electric
It's
Football.
Electric Football. That's Stu Page.
That's Steve Brown.
And here we go. Jacksonville at the Titans. Go ahead, Stu.
Well, I've given up all hope on Jacksonville. They really don't have much of anything on offense or on defense. Lee might be their best weapon, but there is absolutely no run game to speak of. But I think Mariota does just enough this week and counts on Murray and Henry just to run the ball all day long against Jacksonville and win this game.
Lee, like Bruce Lee?
Yes, Bruce Lee. What's his name?
You're beating hard.
Marquise Lee?
My kung fu is best. Yeah, I've given up on Jacksonville too. It's funny you said that because that's pretty much what I came down to. Bortles' touchdown to interception ratio is like 1-to-1. He makes the big bad interception at the worst time. Mariota's got a run game to support him. I like Tennessee in this. And Mariota's been making better decisions. Yes, a little more versatile than Bortles. So, give me Tennessee.
All right.
What do we got?
Redskins, Bengals.
Okay, Redskins, Bengals. This is a tough game.
I know.
But when you look at their losses, well, Washington had a bad loss last week, but should have won that, or could have won that game. And they've both lost to Pittsburgh, and they've both lost to Dallas. The Bengals have only really lost to good teams. They're at home. I had to burp from that opening because that was a bigger chug than I expected to manage. They ruined the Bengals ruined my upset pick last week by actually winning against Cleveland. So I like them here. I like them in this game. I like what A.J. Green is doing, falling down. Only Cleveland could give up that play. But I do like, and you're going to go against me. Washington's been on he made the noise. Stu not happy noise. So go ahead. Tell me why I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. I agree. The Bengals win. It's a pretty evenly matched game, team-wise. I'll give the edge to Cincinnati. Redskins on the road for the second week in a row. And I don't think they have enough to stop, like Stafford to Bolden here. I think they keep it close. I think, their defenses are pretty even as well. And I just think the Bengals win. They're home. Give them the home edge. Bengals.
Okay, so I've picked two home teams. We got KC going to the Colts. And I like KC in this game. I think they're there you go.
Damn it.
Well, I just think they're better at defending the pass, and that's really what the Colts have to rely on. And KC can control the game with short passes to the running backs and running the ball. So I see, I see a visiting team pulling one out here. I like a little bit of what KC's doing right now.
Yeah. Well, the Chiefs beat the Saints, even though they were really outplayed offensively. I can't read the Chiefs. I don't know really on the offense what they are. They're not a running team. They're not a passing team. I really don't know what they are. But the no defense Colts and the town is out of control. They're just besides themselves with this team. I think the Chiefs win a touchdown by harassing Luck into some, crappy wild throws.
There you go. Cards at Panthers. And, what to make of the Panthers?
Don't know.
No, nobody does. And maybe this is the week they turn it around, but I wouldn't bet that way, folks. Crappy kicking aside, the Cardinals should have beaten Seattle. They shut down a good offense in Seattle. Panthers haven't shown anything. The Panthers season this year is one of the weirdest seasons you're gonna ever really, one of the weirdest starts you're ever really gonna see, based on 15-1 last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the Cards have the second overall defense. I think they're third against the pass as far as total yards go. It's just a bad matchup for Carolina, even though it's at Carolina. I like what the Cards are doing. I'm taking the Cards.
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers come into this game rested and hungry. Nah. I think Riverboat Ron is on his last legs here. He can't pull the team together on either side of the ball. And I suspect that Carson Palmer and the David Johnson show will continue to give Carolina fits. And they will take a road game from the Toothless Panthers, unless, of course, they tie.
Speaking of Johnson, did everybody else in America think that he had scored? And why are the Cardinals not stalling and getting a replay on that? He scored on that last play where his foot hit the pylon.
I did not see the game.
Oh, I didn't see the game. I saw the highlights there.
I did not see the highlights.
Okay. It looked. Comments, please, David Johnson. Did he score? I thought so. And even if he didn't, wasn't it close enough that why would the Cardinals be racing to the line? And then they get a penalty, and then they miss a kick. It's one of those weird endings to a game that you couldn't write down and expect it to happen. but there it is. Pirate fight! We've got the Raiders at Tampa. You want to go, Stu?
Sure. With a relatively poor game from the Raiders last week, they still beat up on Jacksonville. Meanwhile, the Bucs looked surprisingly good against the 40. No, they didn't. It was the 49ers. Tough call here. I think Tampa Bay's defense has been decent enough, but I just don't know that you can stop Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree. Crabtree's come alive this year like gangbusters, and I think that the Raiders will squeak one out here and beat the Buccaneers at home and claim the boat.
I think this might be the first.
Was that?
The first. I don't know. It sounded almost Scottish. William Wallace, you ain't. I actually am gonna disagree with you here. I like the Bucs defense a lot better than I like the Raiders defense. I think Jameis Winston is going hot and cold, but I think he has shown an awful lot of potential, and they are at home. The receiving core, Oakland's is better, but Tampa Bay's is good. They're very similar, big wide receivers. Throw the ball up there, let them go get it. I just think that overall, Tampa Bay is a more balanced team, and at home, I think their defense can hold enough, whereas I don't think the Raiders' defense can hold at all.
Either way, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch.
All right, Seattle at the Saints, and this is an interesting game. Seattle's O-line is just horrific.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's really, it's kind of amazing to see what happens to a very good quarterback with a very bad offensive line. Seattle unable to put up points against the Cardinals. The Saints are going to score. I mean, they just are. If this turns into a shootout, the Saints win this game. But I like Seattle overall. I think their defense is strong enough to hold down the Saints' offense. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think Seattle's going to win this one in a low-scoring game.
Rare Hawks road win for me, too, here.
Wow, we are in sync this week.
I know. The Hawks looked mighty average in playing to a tie the other night. And the Saints couldn't get past the Chiefs. This is a high-scoring offense that couldn't get past the Chiefs, and that's kind of frightening. Of course, I like Breeze here. He's home. He's got his crowd behind him. But I think the Hawks defense will just make one big play at the end of the game to kind of ice the game, whether it's a fumble recovery or a pick six or something. But I think Seattle takes it in the last waning seconds of the game.
Okay, now we're going to do a random Steve non sequitur rant. There's an awful lot of talk right now about how football is down. Just how the overall game is down, how the games on Thursday night suck, how the games in London suck, how there's oversaturation. And quite frankly, there was a rant, one of the local radio guys did a rant about how there really aren't the level of stars there were in the 80s and 90s and that sort of a thing. And I got to tell you, I'm having trouble arguing that. Now, some of it is injuries. We're consistently seeing quarterbacks go down. Big stars like J.J. Watt being out really changed. I mean, that's a guy on the defensive side. There aren't many guys on the defensive side of the ball right now that you will stop and go, I need to see that guy play. It might be Richard Sherman, might be Josh Norman, who's also out with a concussion now, I believe. J.J. Watt is definitely one of those guys. Luke Kuechly maybe. But there used to be a lot of those guys. I mean, the Saints had like 4 linebackers that you would watch all 4 of them.
Yeah.
And there don't seem to be. The other
Too
thing,
many teams.
It might be that's definitely part of it. Part of it is the way they play the college game now. Part of it is they don't stick with coaches anymore. It used to be that you had the great coach or two, like the really dominant guy, but you also had, I don't know, the Dick Vermeils or the, name a mid-level coach, the Jerry Glanvilles, the Bum Phillips. The Marty Schottenheimers that were really good coaches. And now it's like Belichick, to me, Tomlin is number 2, and then name the number 3 coach. So some of it is coaching.
Yeah.
What else is it? The offensive linemen in college don't really learn run blocking.
Carroll.
There aren't. I know or Bruce Arians.
So that took me that long to figure it out.
Yeah, there used to be a whole sort of top tier of coaches. Now there's 1 or 2.
Too many teams.
That could be it. Or it could be that the owners just don't stick with coaches long enough for a guy, to have a bad couple of years and develop as a coach. It's the, what have you done for me now thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody my age thinks the game is significantly better now. It's turned into just a pass, 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 pass. You know, there's no other than defensive pass interference. There's another part of this rant. You don't know what a catch is.
Right.
You don't know
That
what
I
a
still
fumble
hate.
is, and you don't know what pass interference is. So you spend an awful lot of time watching replays going, well, on the play before that, he barely touched him, and they called pass interference. On this play, he had him by the wrist, and gee,
And
ref,
nothing.
he wasn't trying to make a one-handed catch because he had to.
It was at the Chiefs game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a couple of games like that where you just go, how is this possible? So I don't know what fixes this. I'm not supposed to fix it. I just complain about things. The game was better when I was a young
We
man.
have no solutions.
We wore leather helmets.
True.
But there you go. That's my rant. I honestly think that football is trending down right now. I think there's an awful lot of different reasons that are leading to that. You know, I mean, we used to have offensive linemen that were stars. Anthony Munoz, Ron Gary, the whole Dwight Stevens, the whole...
Yeah, Larry Little. Who were all the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, Mike Webster and those guys.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, name me a center that's dominant. It doesn't
They'll
exist.
say the Pouncey brothers, but I disagree. I don't think they're dominant players. I think you could put another guy in there that's halfway decent, and you won't miss him.
And that might be because it used to be a 280-pound nose tackle, and now it's a 340-pound Vince Wilfork that, you know, isn't a great player anymore, but you just can't move them.
Right.
They're giant blobs
Just going
of
to put a
flesh.
Stonehenge in front of you and try to move them.
So, yeah, call me an old man complaining.
You're an old man.
Tell me how the game's so much better now
Game's
that it's
better.
turned into a Nintendo game. But I'll tell you what.
Is that rhetorical?
Those arguments, yeah, it was something or other. Those arguments are holding some water with me. They resonate with me, and I think the NFL, along with the problems with concussions and continuous injuries, and no really great young quarterbacks being developed, except for maybe Winston, maybe Luck, still.
Man, maybe.
You know, I mean, they got some problems in the NFL right now. Anyway, what game were we on?
Yeah.
Lions
That's
at
right.
Texans. Oh, two other things. Dennis Byrd. I think we forgot to mention it last week,
did.
and I should have. To guys our age, rip Dennis Byrd, who had a tough injury and then a tough ending. So here's to you, Dennis.
Salute. Yeah, came back from paralyzed and dies in a tragic car accident. Horrible.
Yeah, you know, and cut short what was really a very, very promising career.
And I hate the Jets, but there were certain players they had. Dennis Byrd was one of them that I liked.
There you go. Marty Lyons. Can never hate Marty Lyons.
Right. True.
You know, or a Klecko. How could you not like a Klecko?
I don't know.
Anyway, Lions at Texans, and Brock Osweiler's averaging about 2 yards a pass. He's
What is
like,
that? $72 million divided by 2 yards a pass.
Yeah, I think that the Texans are going, oh my God, did we just get Matt Flynn?
Yeah, we did.
You know what I mean? Like,
Who pays that guy after 7 games?
58 completion percentage, 1-to-1 TD to interception ratio, and you're throwing the ball 4 yards a pass. I think it's more like 5.7. Did not look impressive last night at all. You know, obviously against a very good Denver defense. You didn't see John Elway going, oh man, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Elway, usually superstars have trouble, like, you know, judging talent. But Elway seems to be doing a hell of a job with the QB talent judging there.
I think he's a great, what is he, the general manager or the president of operations? I don't know what he is, but he's making all the right choices.
He's the big swinging dick of the Denver Broncos,
That's
and
right.
he's making the right choices. Speaking of
Big swinging dicks.
BSDs,
Skip's here.
Skip is here. Sorry about that, Skip. And Matthew, ring the
There
bell.
goes the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Anyway, I don't know what that meant. What did that mean?
Come on, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. How old are you?
Not old enough to know that one,
Lives
evidently.
on from the Chippewa down to the great ship they call Mitchell.
Yes. Anyway, Matthew Stafford is having a surprisingly good year, considering Calvin Johnson is gone. And Tim was wrong. They could pull another one out from back there and
That's true.
throw it out there for a win. So I like what Stafford's doing. I don't like what Osweiler's doing. I like Detroit in this game.
Yeah, I'm not going to add much to it. Lions have enough offense to grab one here, and it really looks like Houston's given up. Kubiak's probably on his last legs, too.
Okay. New England at Buffalo, and this is a surprisingly hard game to call. Buffalo's on a little run. Their defense is resurgent. I think they're second or third in the.
We just ran for 214 yards against them.
You did, but their defense is getting pressure on QBs and getting a lot of sacks, and nobody stops Jay Ajayi.
No one stops Jay Ajayi.
Nobody stops him.
No one spells Ajayi.
How did they not realize what they had? Anyway, going back to this game. So it was almost tempting to take Buffalo at home against New England, who solid win against Pittsburgh without Ben Roethlisberger, but not as impressive as I expected them to be. And yet I'm taking the Patriots.
Yeah, until you stop Tom Brady, I'm taking Tom Brady and Gronkowski. I think they're going to annihilate Buffalo, honestly. What we did to Buffalo, who had one of the top 5 defenses in the league, we ran all over them. And Brady won't have to do that. He'll just pick them apart in the air, and I think it's a rout.
Okay, there you go. Speaking of routes, Jets at Cleveland. Jets. Stu?
Jets.
Okay. San Diego at Denver. And I just, one of the things that I always harp on is pass rush. It's just that simple. In a league where it's very hard to be a defensive back, the best way to defend the pass is knock the quarterback on his ass a few times, ring his bell.
Ring the bell.
Ring his bell.
Ding, ding.
Ring his bell. And nobody does that better than Denver right now. So I think they're all over Rivers. I think they keep him to short passes or getting sacked. And I like Denver in this one easily.
Who scheduled this? They played 2 weeks ago, and San Diego won at home. 2 weeks ago. And they're playing each other again. Here's 2 teams, vying for the lead in their division, and they're playing each other 2 weeks apart. Takes the drama out of the rest of the season, as far as I'm concerned, because I'd rather see that game if they're both, got schedules that look like they're close. I'd like to see that game at the end of the year. Other than that, the Chargers won by a gift from Atlanta by going for it, and that was the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen since the Colts hiking to the one guy play against the Patriots a few years ago. I'd love to pick the Chargers here, but I can't see them winning, sweeping the series here in the regular season. So I will take the Denver Broncos with a defensive touchdown to win.
All right, Green Bay at the Falcons. And that Falcons-San Diego game really was the game of the week last week. That was one of the few fun games to watch last week.
I thought the Dolphins game was absolutely fun.
Well, yes, if you're a Dolphin fan.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what to make of this, but I know that Julio Jones right now is unstoppable, and I know that Green Bay's secondary is vulnerable. So I'm taking the Falcons at home with the idea that they will be able to win with long passes to Julio.
Wow, me too. 10 days rest for the Packers, while Atlanta should have beaten the Chargers, if not for that stupid play. And I don't love the Packers this year. I'm really hoping that Atlanta, plays well consistently through the rest of the season, because they are kind of fun to watch. You certainly want to see, Julio Jones in the postseason, because he's that much fun to watch. So I'm going to take maybe a Hail Mary here for the home team to win in the last seconds of the game. Taking a lot of last second things to happen in the end of games. I don't have a lot of information.
Eagles at Cowboys.
Game of the week.
Yeah, it probably is, actually. And this really comes down to Philly's D against Dallas's offense. Dallas gets Dez Bryant back.
I did not know that.
Yes, Dallas is supposed to get. Dez is supposed to play as of today, which is only Tuesday, and things can change. But that gives them their triplets. And I honest to God think that Dak, Zeke, and Dez, you can turn that into Dageeks or whatever, combination of those 3 names. But they might be the Aikman, Irvin, and, help me out, Emmitt Smith.
Sure. Glad I could help.
No, going forward. I mean, earlier in the rant, we also talked about offensive line play, and Dallas has that in droves. Dallas's D, vulnerable. Philly's offense, better. But, I think Carson Wentz has come back to earth a little bit through some bad interceptions against the Vikings that they should have capitalized on and did not.
And they dropped a few, too.
Because we threw them right back to you. Oh, thank you. Here, you want that back? You know,
but an impressive win for Philadelphia against, a very good defense. I picked the Vikings. I'm rooting for a Viking Super Bowl.
And I hate the Cowboys, but I like them to win this game at home. Just, grinding it out and then occasionally chucking the ball up to Dez or Jason Witten. And not an exciting win, not a 45-42 kind of thing. I think we're looking at 21-16 here.
Oh, I think just Dak Prescott is the better quarterback of the two, and this is a neat game. I mean, this is, two of the first. Was Dak? No, he wasn't a first rounder, was he?
No, he's like a fourth rounder,
yeah.
but two rookie quarterbacks that are excelling.
That are both doing very well. And I just like Dak Prescott's composure a little better. I don't think he's thrown a pick yet. And I just think their offense is better. Not knowing Des Bryant is coming back seals the victory for me. I am taking the Cowboys at home.
Where is our statistician? Because I thought Dax finally did throw one.
I think he died.
I could be wrong. Anyway, we finish up with Monday night.
Oh, the game of the week.
Minnesota Norsemen invading Soldier Field. Oh, I like this one, and I like the Vikings by myrtleization of that Cutler boy. I think they're going to beat him by fierce tenacity and just zimmeration. Yeah, that's right, zimmeration. And you know what? Because we did a horrible loss last week, I'm taking off the jersey.
What is that, Steve?
What is that? I don't know, Stu. What is that?
Why, that's an official Electric Football T Shirt available on Zulu for only $9.99. I know it's backwards, but shut up!
That's Electric Football! There it is. Stu, who do you like in this one?
Yeah, I think the Vikings are going to crush them here. The Bears are on their way to another miserable season. I actually think they're the worst team in the league. I think Cleveland plays better than Chicago.
Cleveland competes.
They do, and I think that's why I would put them, even though they haven't won a game.
What did I do to my hair there?
Like you have hair. Anyway, the Vikings now need to stay on course to get to the postseason. I think they want home field advantage, and I think they're going to just bury the hell out of the Bears. There was something today. Cutler says something about the coach needs me. Yeah, well, neither of you are going to be in the next year, so have a nice day.
I don't think there's ever been an NFL quarterback more tone deaf than Cutler, and just he makes mistake after mistake of what's expected from an NFL quarterback as far as leadership goes. And maybe this is the week for that because Fitzpatrick came out with the whole "I'm pissed off and nobody loves me."
He doesn't have it in him.
Nobody loves me. Anyway, we know you love Electric Football. Leave us some comments. We'll talk back to you.
Skippy, ring that bell to end the night. This is Stu Pace.
That's Stu. This is Steve.
That's Skippy.
Skip on the bell.
Good night.